Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another episode of Muslims Uncensored with me, Robert Carter, and my wingman, Roshan Saleh. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Yes, we have a lot to discuss today, and it's quite an important subject which we're going to start the show on. Speaking of censorship, we are, of course, seeing police action against protests on the weekends continuously into 2024. I'm referring, of course, to the massive pro-Palestine marches which have continued into this year. Every weekend, practically, there's been some pro-Palestine action, particularly in London, where it tends to be the main march. And last weekend past, on Saturday, there was hundreds of thousands.
You went to that one, yeah. What was it like?
I went to it, 5 Pillars. It was a humongous event, very loud and proud support for Palestine, as there always is. Palestine has won on the street level. We own and command the streets. It's been the case ever since, well, even prior to October the 7th, Palestine has popular support on the street level. But on the Sunday, the day after, there was a rally in support of Israel. So all the pro-Israel extremists came out. You know,
one man and his dog turned up.
The nutters, the old age pensioners, and all that type of stuff. And you could see the reporting from mainstream media was a disgrace because they referred to the Palestine march as like a few thousand showing up. That's how the headlines were on the BBC. And again, they referred to the Israel march as having thousands and thousands showing up. But if you saw the images of the two, I think the Palestine march organizers said that somewhere between 250,000 to 1 million showed up. So it's hard to know exactly the numbers, but it was well over.
It was hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. Let's say like 500,000, something like that, possibly.
Let's say 10 million.
Yeah, exactly. 1 billion people showed up, but hundreds of thousands, no doubt about that. The Israel march from the wide shot, you could see, I mean, I'm being generous. Being generous. 10K.
I know it's on social media.
Agreeing. They said 25K.
No, it wasn't 10K. It wasn't 10K.
They said 25K.
I mean, I did a search of Trafalgar Square, how many people you can get in Trafalgar Square, and you can get 30,000 people in Trafalgar Square. Now, it wasn't half full.
It wasn't even half
full.
So
I think 10K, I personally think, and the shots I saw, I mean, first of all, I noticed on social media they were taking very narrow shots, which is obviously a trick that you and I have used.
Close to you,
when we have gone to demos in the past, and we admit it, as journalists, you know, and not many people have turned up. We've done like really narrow shots, haven't we, to give a misleading impression. That's what journalists do. They do. Sorry, tricks of the trade here. And that's exactly what happened on social media. But we did see one wide shot, and I would estimate maybe 2,000 people were there from that one wide shot. I would say 5,000 max, Robert.
So why is no one showing up to support Israel, Roshan? Like no one. Why is there literally zero support?
Well, I think one reason, I mean, I'll be honest, I think there are quite a few Israel supporters in this country, unfortunately. I think that's changed over the last 3 months. But the fact is that YouGov did a poll a few weeks ago saying, where do your sympathies lie, Israel, Palestine? And the numbers were actually fairly even, but more in favor of Israel. That's after 3 months of genocide. So unfortunately, I think we shouldn't kid ourselves. There are quite a few Israel supporters in this country. Why are they not turning up? I mean, they're the ones doing the genocide, basically, you know, so what have they got to protest? You know, they're killing everybody and, you know, they don't want the war to stop. But I mean, on top of that, yes, there's no doubt about it. There are definitely more Palestine supporters than the media would like you to believe, and less Israel supporters. But I'm not naive either. Britain is still full of these genocide enthusiasts.
One of those enthusiasts, one of these nutters that showed up at Sunday's pro-Israel rally was Suella Braverman, the former Home Secretary, who is staunchly supporting Israel. Go on, Roshan.
You said nutters, but we had a complaint about that language. It was like, it was bad. You're being nasty to mental health people. And so we can't call it bonkers Braverman or, you know,
okay, the mentally
senile Suella or whatever, because that's mentally.
Can I say?
No, but is it? Do you think it is?
Can I say Cruella de Vil, Cruella Suella Braverman?
That's bad.
I don't know.
That's being nasty to 101 Dalmatians, isn't it, fans? I mean, brothers and sisters, are you offended by that? Calling bonkers Braverman? And I mean, maybe I am being offensive. I'm not sure, but if you got mental health out there, if I call you a nutter or bonkers, is that nasty? Just tell me, and I'll stop saying it.
Is that more offensive to her support for like the killing of Arabs?
What's worse, genocide or being called bonkers?
Suella Braverman's feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, anyway, she attended the rally, and this is someone who, whilst in office, condemned rallies and basically like tried to get them all banned. So that was highlighted. Let's play out a very short clip, a comparison between Suella Braverman's comments at the march compared to while she was in office.
We need to stand with Israel continually throughout this bitter and cruel and evil conflict.
To my mind, there's only one way to describe those marches. They are hate marches.
Now, the irony here, Roshan, is that she refers to pro-Palestine rallies as hate marches and basically urged them to basically be banned. That's what she was ideally hoping for in an ideal scenario. But, I mean, the hate marches, I mean, we don't get Tommy Robinson sorts showing up at pro-Palestine demos.
No, yeah, cuddly Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't get like Britain First and all of these right-wing radical groups, nationalist groups showing up at Palestine marches, which are calling for a ceasefire. Like, God forbid there'd be a ceasefire anywhere in the world. But the Israel march, which is literally Israel is committing a genocide now, you get Suella Bravermans and other people in government who literally, I mean...
You had the spokesman for genocide, Elon Levy, right? Is that his name?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah, literally, he was addressing that. Literally, spokesman for genocide.
Exactly. So I think if we're going to talk about hate marches, I think the hate march was the one she attended, not the one that she was calling to be boycotted.
Well, I mean, what can I say, Robert? Yeah, spot on.
There is another issue which I'm going to talk to you about, Roshan. At the Palestine demo on Saturday, one of the keynote speakers came under attack for comments that he made during his speech, allegedly. Basically, it was a well-known Palestinian activist, writer, Mohamed El Kurd, who was one of the keynote speakers on Saturday. Now, he gave a really passionate speech attacking the political ideology of Zionism, which is behind the genocide, the land theft of the Palestinian people. It was a fantastic speech, but at the end he misspoke, and that sentence was taken wildly out of context and spun by pro-Israel propagandists to mislead the public, basically peddle fake news, and it even got police involvement in this. So let's play out a clip now of the speech which was filmed by us of Mohamed El Kurd and see exactly what happened here.
Hello everyone, it's an honor to see all of you, it's an honor to be here. The atrocities that the Israeli regime is committing in Gaza are some of the most horrific, brutal tragedies of all of our lifetimes. But this genocide is not without a culprit. Zionism is the root cause of all that is happening in Palestine. This is a moment for transformation. There have been 30,000 martyrs. This is our moment to transform the world. We must reject Zionism in all of our institutions. Until there is nothing more within your capability to do, look intently into the eyes of the children of Gaza and convey this message to them. I dare you to look into the eyes of a Gazan child and tell him that you tried your best. Our day will come, but we must not be complacent. Our day will come, but we must normalize massacres as the status quo.
So that was the sentence right at the end that was taken verbatim, where he clearly misspoke. What he actually meant to say was, let's not make massacres the status quo, which makes total sense, right? But an Israeli journalist took our video, zoomed in, reworded the subtitles, and basically suggested that El Kurd was calling for massacres in the streets of London. So she took just that 20-second clip right at the end, didn't showcase anything, zoomed in, didn't include our original subtitles, which corrected the misspoken bit. And she literally said, this guy's promoting massacres against Jews in London streets. Everyone on the right wing started retweeting it, including Suella Braverman, including other MPs associated to the Conservative Party here, and it went viral. Now the police have actually publicised a statement on their Twitter account, the London Met, saying that they're basically investigating this and they're going to speak to Mohamed El Kurd, and we have yet to see how that's going to go. But he remained defiant on Twitter and basically told them to get stuffed, and that he wasn't going to apologise for the speech because it was obvious what he meant. And he even published the speech as it was written, which he read out during the day. He literally misspoke. That was all that happened.
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, you know from the context of what he said as well, if you watch the whole speech, that he didn't mean to say that at the end. He just misspoke. I mean, you think perhaps because English is his second language. I don't think it's that. I think he speaks perfect English, but he stumbled. We all make mistakes when we speak sometimes. terms. And it was obvious from the context, that's not what he meant. It's obvious from who he is, that's not what he meant. He was talking, the whole speech was about basically Israelis killing Palestinians and Zionism. So even if you kind of assume that's what he did say or what he meant, it just doesn't make sense. So look, the Israelis know this. They know this. They're just trying to basically create trouble when there is none. They're trying to get the police to, investigate when there's no case whatsoever. And the police, they're just trying to appease these right-wing Zionist extremist nutters, by issuing statements. They would never issue a statement on our behalf. There's no case to answer whatsoever. It's an absolute waste of police time. And by the way, wasting police time is also an offense in this country, so it's crazy. And I tell you what, Robert, we're just more honest people than they are, because if an Israeli had done that same kind of thing, misspoke like that, yeah, we might have had some fun with it as Palestinian activists, but we wouldn't really have taken it that seriously. High officials wouldn't be retweeting it. We wouldn't try to get the police on them, because we know it wouldn't stand up in court. We know that's not what they meant, but they're liars. It's another proof that these guys are low lives and liars, and they twist everything.
It's what we've seen since October the 7th, is lie after lie after lie. Israeli propaganda is so desperate, and these guys are so desperate for any kind of PR win that they can scratch together, that they're just manipulating speeches by Palestinians and making up stuff. Mohammed, God bless you, quite frankly, I think he's doing fantastic work. He was clearly taken out of context there, and the police have been weaponized against him. Solidarity to him. It was a fantastic speech, by the way.
Oh yeah, it was.
A brave condemnation of Zionism, unapologetic.
Because normally
more of that.
Normally at those rallies on the main stage, all the speeches are quite safe, aren't they? And you get loads of people condemning Hamas and condemning October the 7th and tripping over themselves basically to condemn this and condemn that.
They won't even say Zionism.
I don't think they knew he was going to say that. So he won't be invited back again, I'm sure. But it was a fantastic speech about how Zionism is a pernicious, evil ideology and needs to be eradicated. And I encourage you all to watch it, brothers and sisters.
He shared the stage with anti-Zionist Jews as well, by the way. I think the people who came on to speak after him were Jewish activists, including from the Jewish Black Alliance, if I'm getting them.
Do they cuss Zionism as well?
Absolutely, yeah. They cuss Israel and Zionism. So, this guy suggesting that he's an anti-Semite, he's a Palestinian who wants his people to not get murdered by Israel, basically, and he wants Palestine to be free, and he's calling Zionism out for a political ideology, an evil political ideology, which is behind the massacre of Palestinians and the ethnic cleansing of Palestine and the land theft of Palestine. So I'm sorry, but people in the West need to grow up and learn that if this was happening to us, we'd be literally advocating for the most serious type of full resistance we possibly can to protect our country, to protect our people. But when it comes to Arabs, black and brown people, if they dare try to defend themselves from a colonialist project, they're condemned. Even peaceful resistance is condemned by the West. Look, we're holding them to standards we wouldn't hold on ourselves.
The fact is that if Britain was attacked, then there'll be loads of British terrorists, because they'll defend their country.
So there we go. We've covered that story. There is the wider issue of what's going on. It's turning into a regional war now. Obviously, the UK and US has attacked Yemen directly for the first time since October the 7th.
Yes.
And basically, it's turning into a full-blown regional conflict, which is exactly what we feared was going to happen. We warned about this because the West is not reining Israel in committing its war crimes in Gaza. Arabs in the region, of course, outraged and angered by this. And Yemen has stepped up and has actually begun to blockade the Red Sea in solidarity to try and end this, the genocide in Gaza. But the UK and US have gone, no, let's keep supporting Israel. We need to keep Israel in a safe environment where it can continue this genocide. And they've actually escalated to a point where they're attacking Yemen now. But that hasn't resolved anything because the Houthis in Yemen have actually vowed to continue targeting ships. And literally, I think as of today, there was a ship targeted, a cargo ship targeted, a US-linked cargo ship targeted by the Houthis. And the US actually attacked Yemen, I think, within the last 24 hours as well, again. And the UK is threatening to attack them again as well. So, Roshan, what's your take on this?
I think any act of war, the British Prime Minister should take it to Parliament, and there should be a vote on it. So he's literally gone to war with the Houthis without any accountability whatsoever. And that's a disgrace in itself. And that should be his last act as Prime Minister, really. And there hasn't been enough made of that. I mean, I think Rishi Sunak, he only has about 8 months left in office before he goes anyway. And he's just trying to be as right-wing as possible. The Houthis won't give in. They're used to being bombed, Robert. Obviously they've been bombed by Saudi Arabia for a decade now, or nearly a decade. And they're amongst the poorest people in the world. They're very, I've been to Yemen, as you know, and they're very dignified people. They will risk everything for what they believe in. So a few missiles from the West will not deter them.
That's what's so stupid, I think, about British foreign policy is that, as you rightly said, bombing doesn't work. Bombing hasn't worked for years. And I think it's worth noting as well that although the UK and US was supporting Saudi Arabia attacking Yemen for like a decade, the Yemenis never targeted the Red Sea before, even though they were literally being killed in hundreds of thousands. Now that Palestinians are getting genocided, they've decided, okay, we're going to do something about this, and they've targeted the Red Sea, only Israeli-linked shipping. Now the UK and US have gone, okay, we'll save world trade by attacking Yemen. Since they've attacked Yemen, world trade continues to be affected by this. In fact, it was affected even worse after the US and UK attacked. More companies pulled out of using the Red Sea because of the fear of being targeted.
Very effective.
And the Yemenis have expanded their blockade of the Red Sea by saying, well, now we're going to target any ship linked to the UK or the US as well. So they've literally made things worse, not better.
I think a long war is actually against the interests of both Israel and the West because it's going to destroy their economies. So I think we're all afraid that this war might drag on, but actually maybe it's in the interest of the Palestinians that it does drag on because it's literally going to destroy Israel's economy and the world economy.
It's crazy how all Yemen's trying to do is stop the genocide happening, which the UK and US should be doing, but not doing. They're actually supporting and facilitating and are complicit in the genocide.
The Houthis are going to be next on that terror list now. So
yes,
we won't be able to say anything about the Houthis.
Probably. I think Biden already referred to them as as terrorists, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everyone's a terrorist now, aren't they? So, I mean, that's kind of expected. The final thing to discuss would be the latest regarding the genocide case against Israel at the ICJ.
Yeah.
You went.
Yes.
Your coverage was fantastic. But one bit of your coverage which I enjoyed the most was when you confronted
all the sensible things I said and the serious things I said.
Forget that.
And the only
Forget
thing that anyone concentrates on is my doorstep against Israeli journalists.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the best bit of your coverage. So I'll play it out right now and give you a chance to tell us what happened exactly. So this was a journalist of an Israeli TV network who you confronted as he tried to do a piece to camera in front of a Palestine demonstration.
This is Israeli TV doing a piece to camera. Israeli TV. Israeli TV. Yeah. Israeli TV. How about the babies you guys have killed? How about the babies you guys have killed? The lies that you told? 25,000 dead? All those kids brutalized, displaced? They've got a cheek standing here in front of a pro-Palestine demonstration, haven't they? All those children killed. All those populations displaced, the beheadings, the slaughter. What a cheek. What a barefaced cheek. What a barefaced cheek. Palestine. There they go, running off with their tails between their legs.
There you go, Roshan. Well done. Yeah, congratulations are in order there. You've done a very
Shall I give the context of that?
So yeah, what happened? Who is this guy?
So he's an Israeli, quite a prominent Israeli TV anchor.
Oh, really?
I found him later on Twitter, and he does support he does support the Israeli regime and everything that's happening and return the hostages. That's all he says on Twitter, basically. So I think he was a legitimate target. Yeah, so basically, I was just told this is Israeli TV. And obviously he's going there to do his piece of camera in front of the pro-Palestine crowd for 20 seconds and he leaves because he doesn't want to cause any trouble. But I thought, no, I want to make him feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Because let's face it, we're all feeling a little bit helpless here. We can't stop this war. A genocide's taking place. We can't do anything to stop it, really. So I thought the least I can do is make an Israeli supporter of the Israeli regime and a representative of Israeli, propaganda media, at least I can make him feel uncomfortable. So that was my aim, and that's what I did.
Just to remind him what a scummy regime he represents, Israel. And I like the questions you were throwing at him. I think the only criticism that people would probably give us is that you didn't go far enough. Maybe.
Well, I only had 20 seconds. I mean, what, you want me to put the boot in or something?
Cheek of you cheeky little guy. But I think you did very well, because I think it would be hard.
It was
a
off
lot of
cuff.
Activists would probably find it hard not to like swear at the guy and just shut him down. But at the same time, we've got to be professional.
I did swear. I just edited those bits out. No, I didn't swear. Yeah.
No,
that was it. Well, that was the whole confrontation you saw.
Yeah, we just got to highlight to these guys just how they're justifying a genocide.
I just don't think they should feel comfortable. I think they need to be challenged. And of course, I'm not advocating violence or anything, but why should people who are advocates for genocide, why should they feel unchallenged and unaccountable?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that you did. That's just an example of the fantastic work we do here at Five Pillars, supporting proper support for Palestinian cause, which is not always found elsewhere, as people kind of yellow belly out of genuine support for the cause, but not here at Five Pillars. So well done, Roshan. Roshan, I think that we're going to leave it here for now, because there's a lot happening, and of course we will be discussing more of these types of stories, including in the next episode of Muslims Uncensored. Muslims Uncensored, we continue to try and make this a location, a hub for not only genuine reaction, but also the truth in the news, which you won't find anywhere else. So please do continue to like, share and subscribe, and support us any way you can, including in that comment section below, a comment section which we do read and react to during the week, inshallah. So thank you very much, guys. Assalamu alaikum for now, and thank you very much, Roshan, for joining us once again, as you always do, as my wingman, as I'll be referring to you going forward. As my sidekick going forward on my show. But thank you very much, guys. Until next week, inshallah, it's Marsalama for now. Jazakallah khair.